There we go. We're live.
Llama Party.
Llama Party.
Llama Party.
All right, so we're talking about conspiracies.
Birds aren't real.
Birds aren't real.
Birds aren't real. I'll be trying to tell people. It's growing. I don't know if you noticed. It's a growing conspiracy. I've been saying it for years.
Yeah, they're government drones.
They're all government drones. Birds aren't real.
Because they can't just tap into your cell phone at any point and see what you're doing.
No, it's more than that.
Oh, is it?
It's more than that. Like, and that's the whole thing. Like, the birds aren't real. The birds are drones. They're literally they're predicting movement. Like, kind of like what your phone does with like knowing what people are, what Americans are. These drones are doing that. These Russian drones are learning our habits.
Oh, they're Russian drones. They're not even U.S. drones. Okay.
No.
Gotcha.
The U.S. drones are in Russia.
Oh. Okay, I understand now.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like, they're learning.
It's bleed over from the Cold War.
Yes, they're learning about us.
Very much to know we're all fat and dumb.
They've been through that. You can see that on TV. A little bit. Like, yeah, birds aren't real. That conspiracy. People are like, I've seen a bird. Like, no, you seen very high, sophisticated biotech.
Biotech. It's biotech.
It's biotech. You see very high, sophisticated versions of that. But
just like what they used for Michelle Obama during her gender reassignment surgery.
Never forget, a bird saluted Putin.
You're right.
All right, and nobody can argue against me. That bird knew respect. Like, he was on duty bird, on duty drone, and you salute Putin.
You salute.
Drone or not, all right?
You KGB asshole.
Yeah, way more sophisticated than Michelle Obama being a man. I hate when I see somebody post Michelle Obama is like, it's Michael. Like, stop. like they'd be like, yeah, Barry and Michael. The worst one I saw was it's Obama. You can kind of see it's Obama. It's a really old picture. It's this black guy with a fro that's supposed to be Michael, and it's this nerdy white guy with glasses, and that's supposed to be Bill Gates.
Oh, so this is a deep-reaching one.
And have you never seen that? Like, this is like them three, and it's like them plotting of eugenics.
Bill Gates is plotting eugenics.
Like, there was like the next generation eugenics. Well, Bill Gates' family did fund Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, and apparently it's to kill all the black children or something.
Yeah, they kill blacks, bro.
That's what they do?
Yeah,
Okay.
Can't have too many black people. We'll overthrow y'all. Beat y'all up. What you talking about?
That rule should be we can't have too many people.
No. We have a lot of white people. They could have a few more white people.
Yeah, there's just like too many people in general.
Not enough white people. Like, if you like globally,
that's what
India and China is holding it down.
Oh, I know. I wasn't pointing the finger in any particular direction.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, like, there's too many people.
Oh, yeah, there's too many people.
Like, we can acknowledge that global warming is happening based on the data that's coming in about our atmosphere changing every year. Mm-hmm. But as far as how do we address it, I don't think it's possible to address it with as many people as there are.
Oh, yeah.
I think a lot of people have to die really fast.
In the next 50 years, we're supposed to have 20 billion. Yeah. So we're supposed to over double.
Yeah, well, that's how it works. It's exponential, right? Like 2 becomes 4, becomes 8, becomes 16. It's not the steady climb. It's dramatic every time.
Yeah, that's why Bill released the coronavirus in Wuhan.
Oh, so it killed...
Yeah, that's the conspiracy. He released
0.04% of us?
No, but China's lying about their numbers. Bill knows what he's doing. They lying about their numbers.
It's Bill Gates.
Because think about it. So America's number one, right? China's obviously lying about the numbers. Number 2 that is suffering other than America, which are also lying about numbers, is India. Mm-hmm. Bill knew what he was doing. He released it. That's the conspiracy. He released it in his Wuhan lab that he has.
There are so many conspiracies about it, though. Like, is it Bill Gates? Is it 5G? Is it Bill Gates installing 5G?
First off, it's Bill and what's the scientist dude that Trump? Fauci. Yeah, it's them two.
I wouldn't say
Fauci giving us bad intel.
I wouldn't call him like Trump's guy. They're kind of constantly fighting with each other, but
it's like a love-hate relationship, bro.
No, it's literally like Trump will go up and say some real dumb shit, and then Fauci's like,
yeah, love-hate.
How do I say that was not true and moronic? And
yeah, but everybody gets more mad at Fauci.
Yeah, because everyone has a misconception about what science is.
No, it's the conspiracy.
Yeah.
Right? We can believe the conspiracy more. But that's what he releasing it. And also, Bill and Fauci are trying to get Trump out of office. That's also part of the conspiracy.
Yeah.
So they're using this to hurt his candidacy.
Well, to be fair, if you have half a brain, you're trying to get Trump out of office. But
okay. You better have
I want all the smoke. I'm drunk. I'm drinking whiskey.
You're gonna
I want the
have
smoke.
a lot of red hat, half a brain people come at you, bro.
I'll fight them. I don't care.
They know the police.
All right, so
yeah, you take an L.
Just for reference, we might touch on it a little bit, but we're gonna try to like avoid the alien thing a little bit because we're gonna make that its own episode because there's a lot to cover with the alien thing.
Yeah. But yeah, the coronavirus thing. Also, the other one, conspiracy, the 5G towers.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
this
5G
is controlling
towers.
our brains. Right? So the 5G towers that's been implemented and being used is help controlling because that was the one thing, that was the one main job that was that they were putting the towers up. Mm-hmm. Right? They were just installing it and the waves. And when we put our phones up to our heads, it's controlling us.
Yeah.
Right? With social media and everything else. That's also mixed up in there.
They're not entirely wrong about phones controlling us, but not like the way
with the waves. Saying. It's not with the frequency wave of the 5G.
No, it's
waves.
with our like reward system.
Yeah,
it's it over and over
that's
again.
With the reward system and everything. But yeah, the whole COVID and everything.
I had someone send me a video like right at the beginning of the whole COVID thing of this guy who claimed to be a scientist giving a lecture somewhere. It was just like a cell phone video of him talking, and he was talking about how these waves that these things produce, like the 5G towers, the 3G towers, so on and so forth. He was talking about how, like, every time there's an advancement in our communication systems, there's new diseases, and it's because, like, these waves scramble our DNA, and the trash protein from the DNA scramble become the viruses. Right? And, like, the first thing my brain went to was, like, what about all the viruses they found in, like, dinosaur
all
fossils?
The ancient viruses and stuff.
Yeah,
because that was the thing. Like, even, like, people like Dr. Sebi, he said, like, there was no... Diseases aren't natural. And, nobody had disease back then, even though the Bible heavily talks about leprosy. Leprosy was the AIDS and cancer.
We don't have to, like... The Bible's pretty recent in the time frame I'm talking about. I'm talking about, like, millions of years. They would find fossils.
Yeah, there was disease and stuff back then.
Yeah, there were viruses in fossils. Like, that was just a thing.
Animals, just microorganisms, the viruses and diseases is a normal thing. Yeah. They're good and bad, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, also, we can't talk about the demon semen that one black doctor scientist.
Oh, my God.
We can't. And she also talked about some alien stuff to that with the 5G. Remember, she did talk about that.
Yeah.
That was also part of the 5G thing.
Yeah, I know.
And people believe...
I wonder if, like, from the way it sounded, her definition of aliens was like the Alex Jones version of aliens, where it's not like the stereotypical alien deal. It's like interdimensional intelligences.
I don't know. She did talk about demon semen, so...
Yeah. Because a lot of the Christian conspiracy theorists have, like, pulled the alien thing into their court, but they don't believe they're aliens. They think they're demons.
Also, the people say COVID is from our sins.
Yeah, but you could have expected that. Anything bad that happens, there's always that group of crazy Christian people that are like, it's because we sin too much.
Also, the conspiracy saying the reason people
because of butt sex.
People said the reason we rioted this year was because we wasn't in church. We're in lockdown too long away from church, and it made us riot. If
you ask me, there are too many people in the goddamn church. I'm trying to get us canceled.
Which church?
All of them.
I think there's not too many people in the churches. There's just too many churches. What was it? It was something like, I think it was over 1,000 different denominations in church.
Just in Christianity.
Just in Christianity.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
There's some crazy conspiracy theorists in there, and we don't call it conspiracy theories, but it's conspiracy theories.
Oh my God, we could do a whole thing on that.
Like, every time some new method of payment comes out, they're like, that's what it's talking about in Revelation. It's the mark of the beast.
Do you remember in 2012, this person made so much money off of, it was these like little chambers he was selling, and if you had it in your home, your soul would go in there and protect you from Armageddon during the year 2012.
I had no idea about that. But
he made bank. And somebody did something similar this year because of COVID or something. Like, it was all these like crazy things. Somebody always making bank off of it.
Oh, they were definitely, like, in the beginning, there were people selling essential oils that were, like, claiming...
That was it, the essential oils.
Yeah. They were curing COVID with essential oils.
With essential oils.
Which doesn't work, by the way.
Oh, we can't forget about, what was it? Jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams.
Well, that's pretty true.
But it's a conspiracy.
Yeah, it is a conspiracy theory.
Tan people killed our troops. Killed our people.
Killed our people.
Tan people.
No, I don't, like...
We gotta blame the Middle Easterners.
The 9/11 thing is a weird one, right? Because, like, I don't know what happened, but something obviously happened that wasn't the normal narrative.
They robbed it with box cutters. Well, I'd have been on that plane, boy, if you don't sit your ass with
dude,
box cutters, bro, I would have been fighting.
There had to be something more, because, like, if you came at me with a box cutter, I will fuck your shit up.
Bro, I'm going to look at anybody else and like, so we jumping or what? Like, I'm getting up.
There's 200 of us on this plane.
Yeah,
They might cut a few of us, but we're about to nuck a few.
He may cut a few of us.
Yeah.
I doubt he can cut one. A box cutter, bro?
Dude, a box cutter's pretty sharp.
Yes, but I'm talking about the range. You go in on one, I'm grabbing. Boom. You may cut me. That's the only person you now grabbed. Now you're getting stomped. Now how you feel?
I'm dodging this way whenever you lunge. I'm dodging this way, and I'm catching you with the elbow right.
Yeah, you getting stomped. Like, yeah. And if you're that skilled of a fighter, you didn't need a box cutter in the first place.
Yeah.
If you had hands like that, you needed.
So there has to be other details.
Oh yeah.
That are missing from this, and unless the whole thing never happened, which I doubt, because there are like people who had loved ones on the plane, and the people on the plane called and said, "Hey, the shit got hijacked." So, like, obviously something was hijacked.
How can you call on the plane?
Easy.
Really?
Yeah.
How many times have you flown?
3 times.
And your phone wasn't on airplane mode?
No.
Your phone's supposed to be on airplane mode.
I'm a rebel, baby.
Oh, so you out here just crashing planes?
Because that shit doesn't affect the plane. I don't know why it's a thing.
Why we have to put it on airplane mode?
Yeah, I don't know why that's a thing. No. Like, it's the plane is a mechanical operation. Like, its engines work mechanically like a car does.
They say you have to put on air, or it'll screw up the signal or whatever else.
No, it doesn't.
I don't know how airplane mode became a thing. That whole scenario doesn't make sense. Don't forget the plane crashed the Pentagon, which it didn't look like a plane ever crashed at the Pentagon. Remember, 3 planes crashed that day.
It was building number 7 that, like, no plane ever hit it, and it still collapsed the same way. Like, it was like a straight controlled demolition, fell to the ground, nothing ever hit it.
And they said it was a plane. That was a conspiracy.
But, like, nothing ever hit it.
Yep.
It was intact when it fell.
But the government said it was a plane.
The fuel thing, like, everyone, it's kind of a punchline now, but, like, that's completely true. And this needs explaining because a lot of people don't understand how fuel works. The gas that we put in our car burns hotter than all of the higher grade fuels, right? Because, like, you have our normal fuel, and then you've got, like, race car fuel, and then you've got your jet fuels and stuff higher than that. That's higher octane. Yeah. And the higher you go up in the octane scale, the colder it burns. That's why race fuel works, is because race car engines make a lot of power. They produce a lot of heat. So if you want them to run really maximally, you have to use fuel that burns colder, so they generate less heat. That's how the whole thing works. So in theory, yes, like, there's no way that jet fuel should be able to melt steel beams. But I've also heard the argument that it just, like, the fire in general weakened the structure of the buildings. But even if you want to...
But at the angle, though.
If you want to consider that, then the planes hit the buildings really high.
Yes.
Like, really high up. So if you're talking about, like, structural damage, it should have been on the top level. It would have, like, burned halfway through. And the fuel probably would have expired because high octane fuel burns really fast anyways.
The building would have still mainly been up. Like, half of the building would have stayed from where they hit.
The buildings
they would have had to hit it at the bottom.
Yeah. To do any kind of, like, collapsing damage.
Which would have did way more damage.
For sure.
It would have did so much more damage. If they
I don't know enough about flying planes to know how difficult it would have been to get, like, a plane into a
you just dive.
Position.
You just dive.
Just dive in.
Yeah, like, once you hit it, you just like, like, you just start diving, bro. I mean, at the same way, the way they blew up the plane, you just dived it probably would have been more believable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm with you in the way that, like, something else happened there.
But they show videos of the explosion happening when the planes hit. They show at the bottom part, explosions hit. There's videos of that.
We don't have to go that deep. Like, look at how it happened whenever the buildings fell. Like, anyone who's ever watched a building be demolished, that's exactly what they do. They plant explosives all the way down, And that's literally how it happened on television. It went do, 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 do. Like level by level, and the whole thing caved in on itself. Like that was a controlled demolition. So even if we're to believe the main story, the main narrative, like some Al Qaeda people had to have access to the building and plant explosives.
Wait, a person really got on the phone, was like, yeah, they hijacked the plane with a box cutter. Bro, if you don't, I would have been on the phone. Bro, whoop his ass. What are you talking about?
Fuck him up.
Like this ain't getting you out of no. This ain't no good excuse, bro. You better whoop his ass.
Yeah, like even if you like cut me on a major artery and I'm bleeding out, I'm taking you out before
You're
I
a
bleed
box
out.
cutter, bro.
Yeah.
A box cutter. Like,
Somebody on that plane had to lift weights.
bro, like you don't even have to like you told me they really found that one plane. They were like, good, every passenger here doesn't fight. Like, did they really statistically plan this
Going
out?
to New York.
We're going to New York. Well, they just take L's in New York, so it just made sense.
Everyone in New York is like...
Nobody had Tim's on going to New York? Nobody?
I mean, it could be a stereotype, but like the stereotype is like all the people from New York City are like super aggressive.
Yeah, but they take L's. They're super aggressive and take L's.
Okay, gotcha. So they took a pretty big fucking L.
That was a big L. That's just crazy to me. Like nobody can fight. Like
yeah.
Really? Nobody had.
Like, I'm not gonna say you couldn't beat me with a box cutter at all.
I'm saying you can't beat me and 5 others with a box cutter.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
even if 2 of them are kids, you ain't beating you.
Yeah.
Like I just need 2 other grown men. Honestly,
Timmy, punch him in the dick.
Right? Like it's 3 of y'all. It's 200 of us, bro. Like.
Yeah.
Like, are you telling me like they were all women? Even then,
like,
200 women can overpower 3 guys.
I used to say that shit when I was a kid, like right after it happened, and people would be like, "That's so insensitive. Stop being so insensitive." It's like, but for real, like it's a box cutter.
Fear trumping like common sense.
Yeah, it's like you have a better chance with a machete or some shit.
Yeah, look, but it's like are y'all like that's the thing? Like you're so caught up in fear. Right? Because that's the whole thing. Like, they were so caught up, like, they hijacked the plane, we're scared, we can't do anything, and you're just calling. And it's like, you're that caught up in fear where you're just not fighting? Like, that's just weird to me.
And even that, you're going to have that person. There's that fear response that some people have where they are confronted with something really terrifying, and they freeze. Mm-hmm. They stop. But not everybody's like that.
But they found 200 people that was.
Yeah, 200 people, and every single one of them have that response? No.
Been on that plane. You'd be like, we're man, I'm not going to do the accent. I was about to do a Middle Eastern accent. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah,
they're on there.
Don't go there.
Telling us no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do my quickie mark. Everybody get down, right? Then like, we're taking the plane. I'm like, sit your ass down.
Yeah.
You better sit your ass down and watch this movie.
I'm going to put your ass in a Kimura and break your arm just so you hurt the rest of the way there.
Like right there, like, and then that's the thing, like I do the accent, but like how people like felt. They felt like these terrorists all had guns and were like they were crazy. Like, no, it wasn't that crazy.
At least according to like the main narrative. All we know from the main narrative is they had box cutters, and that shit doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Box cutters.
You're gonna need something bigger than a box cutter to take down 200 people.
I mean, like, are you telling me the plane captain didn't have hands? Are you telling me this man didn't have hands?
Even, like, the guys doing the operation on the other side, like, not one of them stopped and said, "Hey, man, I don't really feel safe taking over 200 people with a box cutter."
But that's narrative where it's like, they were, like, these Al-Qaeda people where they were, like, like, the people over in the Middle East where they just strap a bomb to the kid. Like, they're not monsters. They're like, fuck it. The American, they pussy, right?
Yeah.
We got enough intel from these drones.
Which is a weird narrative to have anyways, because, like, America's been... at least
they got enough intel from the drones.
They got it from the Russian drones.
No,
like,
they had their drones. They also have their... They're not that poor. Don't be racist.
I'm not being racist. I'm just saying a terrorist organization's pretty low dollar compared to a world government.
I mean, Bin Laden was hiding out for a minute.
Yeah, but that's guerrilla warfare. That's a different thing. That's not like technology.
Well, and more and more we pick apart, it makes less sense, right?
It's like everyone, like I have a lot, you have friends that whenever you get out of high school, they go join the army, and during our time, that means they went over to Iraq and Afghanistan and fought and shit. And, like, I have so many friends that told me they were using like super outdated Russian guns. Like all of them like bought guns that Russia used in like the 50s, you know?
You see what I'm saying? Like the more we take it apart, the more it just seems like something else definitely happened. Like that conspiracy so easily pick apart. That's how I feel about the whole Michelle Obama. Like if she was like a man, trans, whatever else, she would look like this beautiful woman where you couldn't deny it.
Yeah.
But also, where are pregnant Michelle Obama pictures? Where?
Obama?
I've never seen.
I need the proof.
Never. I've seen the wedding day pictures. I've seen the college graduate pictures.
I need your birth certificate and pictures of your wife pregnant in the stirrups.
Twice.
About to deliver.
Twice. I need two pregnancy pictures because she had two daughters. And I forget what the name. They said the family they got the kids from. Right? But like them kids look weird regardless. Michelle Obama looked weird to me too.
Dude, they look like Obama's kids is what they look like.
They look weird, bro. Obama look weird, bro. They all look weird. You know, that's the bigger conspiracy, the fact that Obama had mom had nudes. You
What?
know that? She was a go-liver, bro. Obama's mom had nudes. You never seen Obama's mom nudes? She was bad back in the day.
You're waking me up to some whole new shit.
I can't believe you ain't said that, bro. I used to have that shit on my phone. I used to have that.
Yeah, whose nudes don't you have on your phone?
I have Hillary Clinton's daughter's nudes.
Oh, well,
She ain't that bad. No, you're thinking the ugly one.
One of them is not great.
Yeah, I'm talking about the good one.
Okay.
Good one had nudes.
I didn't know there were multiple of them.
Pretty sure they got $2. I'm pretty sure they have $2.
I don't know. I don't keep up enough.
Yeah. Yeah, but you ain't never Obama mama. But
I've never ever heard of this.
I can't believe you never seen Obama. You could Google it, you'd be like, damn. You're like, yeah, bro.
All right, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention while we're talking about the topic, Operation Northwoods.
Oh, what was that again?
In the 60s, when we were in contention with Russia, this became declassified later through the Freedom of Information Act. The U.S. government planned to shoot up a bunch of college campuses here and sink a bunch of cruise liners and shit and blame it on Cuba so that we could go to war with Cuba.
Fidel?
Yeah, with Fidel.
We trained him, right?
Yeah. Another one of the enemies that we created for ourselves because we're good at that.
We love it. It's comic books, bro.
Anyways, like, and that branched off into other conspiracies. Like, that's why JFK got assassinated. Allegedly, like, he found out about that and he was trying to put a stop to it, and they were like, "Kapah!"
Yeah, we got magic bullets, ice bullets.
Ice bullets?
Ice bullets, magic bullets. You know, you hear all these different theories on, like, what kind of bullet, because they never found the bullet.
Yeah.
Right? And they just shoot him. But apparently they were, what I heard about JFK is they warned him, like, hey, if you keep doing what you're doing, it's going to be very mind-blowing for you.
It's going to be very mind-blowing.
Right.
The president, like, it was such a weird series of events, right? Because, like, the president that, like, I can't remember if it was Eisenhower. It was one of, like, the World War II era presidents. Like, when he was leaving, he made a big speech, and it was on TV. Like, he put it on TV for the whole nation and said, you guys have to slow down the expansion of the military-industrial complex. Like, they're getting too much money. They're getting too powerful. These intelligence agencies are getting way too strong. And then JFK shot very shortly after that. It's like that was the turning point to where, like, the president was the big dick guy, and now the president doesn't even matter. It's all about these agencies.
I don't know. We say that because wasn't Nixon after him?
Yeah.
Nixon mattered. Nixon made some moves. Tricky Dick.
Reagan made some fucking moves too.
I mean,
like, both of them expanded the imprisonment of American citizens. That's really what their legacy is. Mm-hmm. That's what both of those guys did.
Yep.
They made it easier to
war on
enslave and imprison American citizens.
Mm-hmm. The war on drugs and everything.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah,
Not that it was ever great.
But they still they took it to the next level.
Yeah, because, like, it almost coincides with the civil rights movement, right? Mm-hmm. Like, there was this generation that was, like, hopeful, and they were fighting for everyone to have liberty, and then you have these presidents come in and, like, clamp down, like, make the laws more intrusive.
Yeah, y'all Negroes too happy.
And it doesn't even just affect black people. Like, it affects everyone. Primarily black and brown people. But it affects everyone.
Yeah, I mean, the poor white people still gonna vote for him. So it's like, y'all get affected, but y'all not gonna know no better.
Like, after the fact, years later, again, Freedom of Information Act, like, it's revealed that the whole sweeping psychedelic act was like they were waging a war on the hippies. Like, they wanted to specifically target the hippies and like lock them up. And it's like, what the fuck? What are y'all doing?
You gotta get rid of. Well, they was starting all the like stop having wars. What? Stop having what?
I think like anytime you take a psychedelic, and I haven't done any like really strong psychedelics.
Pussy.
Sorry.
Pussy.
Like salvia and shit.
Ugh.
Even with that,
it's like the crackheads of psychedelics, bro.
It's a very like rough one.
Yeah, it's literally the meth heads of psychedelics, bro. It's the skeezer
or mentally. But even in that state, you like while you're in that state, you're like none of this shit makes sense. Like none of it. Like government structure, none of it makes sense. We're animals trying to apply like some kind of advanced structure to this, and we're not prepared to do it, and that's why we don't do it right.
That's what you thought on salvia?
Yeah.
Like I've never did salvia. I don't know how to talk about that.
A little caveat to
the psychedelics I've did never made me feel like that, bro.
All right, little caveat. And this was just like what was going through my brain, right? The experience was very different than that. This was like the afterglow. The initial onset of salvia was very intense. It was, I took a hit, my vision did like this thing, and then I was in a different world. I was wearing blue pants at the time, like scrub bottoms. I looked down and they were like yellow. And then I looked up and it felt like evil was all around me. So I got out of the car. I was sitting in a car at the time. The interior was black, which is why I think like it created the like dark imagery. But I got out of the car and I was standing there. I was like, man, I'm lonely because I'm not with my friends anymore, right? So I like go and I was like, I guess I'll deal with the evil because I need my friends around. I sit down and I look back at my friend in the back seat and he looks like the Pope, like straight up, full get up, hat, everything, like the Pope. And I was like, oh, he's here, so I'm safe from the evil. And then I slowly came to, and I started to have all those like headstrong things, just like we're animals and we're trying to create complex systems that we're not smart enough to operate, and that's why there's all these problems.
It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Kind of weird and wild. Like, I've tripped off of 3 things, right? Edibles, mushrooms, and acid. And edibles, I just know edibles is not a fun trip. Everybody's like, you trip off edibles? Yes. I literally cried because I thought white people were going to eat me.
Well, there's like being too high on weed is a problem anyways. That's just an unpleasant experience being too high on weed.
So unpleasant. So scary.
So unpleasant.
Mushrooms was real chill, like such a like I couldn't move. Like that was the one like I'm stationary. Acid, I could do a cartwheel, bro. I'm dancing, I'm jigging, like hey, I'm like that one meme where it's just like I'm getting it, bro. You know, it's so weird.
The next time I did salvia, I had like the body experience. It was like less heady. I was like, I tried to get up and move, and I like my body wasn't working right. It just felt like it was 1,000,000 pounds, and so I was like, all right, I'll just give in to it, whatever. And then I just sank and melted into the couch.
Never had those experiences.
Dude, salvia is like really intense, but very short.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah.
Speaking of like on the psychedelics and everything, isn't like MK Ultra like the conspiracies on what they did with LSD?
It's not exactly a conspiracy. I guess you could call it that just because of the nature.
A lot of people won't believe it though. Like that they tested LSD like on people. Like, have you seen the amount of LSD? It was
worse than that. It was worse than just testing LSD on people. They were trying to create super soldiers. For anyone who doesn't know, look up Project MK Ultra. Mind Control Ultra is what it stands for, and like the K is a German thing because this was done by like ex-Nazis.
Yeah.
After they were brought in with paperclip.
But
another conspiracy.
You know,
that is
people.
Not really conspiracy.
Have you ever found like people that came from MK Ultra and they all have weird abilities? They're not normal, bro.
I don't know, but the goal of that was to create super soldiers, right? So what they do is they would like kidnap homeless people, or orphans, or anything like that, like the miscreants that society didn't want, kind of thing. They would lock them in like sensory deprivation tanks for days at a time and feed them absurd amounts of LSD.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like,
that's when you find out you can't OD from LSD.
Yeah, you can't. You can develop psychosis.
What's psychosis?
Sure. Like whenever your mental state breaks down and you become a crazy person, basically.
See, people say like if you do 3 to 7 times, you become that.
No, because I've known people that have done like.
That's what I'm saying. Trips. I know people do so many trips, and it's like.
But if you like have a high dose all the time, you definitely can develop psychosis. But you can develop psychosis from marijuana. Like straight up, yeah. Like if you're not a person that gets along with marijuana and you do it often enough, you can develop psychosis. It's like early onset dementia. You become a crazy person.
That's wild.
Like permanently.
That's wild.
But anyways,
and that's crazy. Like an actual like heavy hit is anything more than 10 hits. Like not just 10 hits. It's like 20 plus. It's like actual heavy hits, which is wild. Yeah. Right. Like that's absurd.
Well, it seems like. Based on me being a shaman to certain people and talking to others that have done like large amounts of things, like there are different levels with psychedelics that aren't the same as with other drugs. Because like if you take an opiate, you get the sensation, but if you take more, it's just like more of that sensation. It's like with psychedelics, if you take larger doses, you like punch into different experiences entirely.
That's how I was when I first time did it. Like it was so many hours. I was like, oh, this acid must have been a dud. So I took 2 more. And then 10 minutes after that, the first one kicked in. I thought all of them kicked in, but then I realized I felt when the other 2 kicked in. Yeah, and it literally felt like everything shattered, and I was just like how the TV shows and movies do the weird your big glassy eye and all this thing just flow and crazy. It literally felt like that, and it was just like it was such a the control power. I was in control of all this sensation and energy. It wasn't really I don't even know how to say it, but I was high for 27 hours, and I was like, yeah, acid doesn't stack the same way as other things. You don't just do it and you do that full trip and you just intensify. No. It adds time. It's a weird calculation multiplier. I don't know yet. Yeah. That adds time. Because that was absurd. 27 hours up and just I was smelling things. Nobody talks about it. They only talk about visuals. All your sensations are tripping. And I don't know how to describe that, bro. I was out there smelling soaps, man. I mean... I was like, this soap is dope. This is a fire-ass smell, bro. Oh, shit.
You're literally messing with the chemistry that makes your brain function.
And and talk about brain, I would be cup, box, shoe, computer, and that's my mind would say to say a sentence, and I'd be like, how was you guys' day today? And I was just like, what? And my mind would think of all these random things, these images would be my thoughts now. These random images throughout my life of seeing, but I would still be able to commute normally. And I couldn't grasp that.
So it seems like you're more aware of the way you are normally, right? Because I do similar things in the way I'll be conversing with someone and just half in it and half somewhere else. Mm-hmm. That kind of thing. Yeah. But you're more aware of that.
Yeah. So just to think of people were doing it and where they were injecting it at. And I saw it was a TV show that Umbrella Academy. They try to inject they put little drops in this person's eye, and I was like, where you put in your body differently? Does that affect differently? Will you have more visual if you put it straight up in your eye?
I don't know about eyes, but different routes definitely process differently.
That's why I was wondering
That's why people inject heroin, is because whenever you inject something straight in your veins, it's immediate.
If you put it in your butthole, if you just having this weird butt sensation, because that's usually the straight because they always say anything through the butt is instant because no liver stops it, right? You backdoor the liver and liver can't.
I mean, it would be similar to it going underneath your tongue. Both of it's absorbing through the mucosa into your vasculature.
Oh, okay, so that's why I'm just man, it's wild, and people tested it and they tested on it, and I know this one person, right? And me and my friends and everything else think she was an MK Ultra test person because she can do something very weird. She's an older lady and she can do something really weird. And her son had he was freaked out about it. He's talked about he wrote stories about it in school. It was weird, and they were I think the MK Ultras. Whenever she would cook, she never used gloves. She would cook a turkey Thanksgiving Day, and she would just grab it hands out. And that was freaked him out. Because, like, as a kid, you touch it, like, that burns him. Like, but how's she doing it? And so she literally grabs everything out. No burn marks, no nothing. And just grabs it out.
You know there's a medical condition that prevents people from feeling pain, right?
But she can feel pain. She just can't feel, like, the heat. Like, I don't know if it's all over the body, but we just show with the hand. She doesn't have burn marks on her hand. She can withstand this heat on her hands and just does this thing. It's very specific and very weird. That's what I'm saying. And then we trace the time around like the Utah area, all this other stuff, and like she may be an MK Ultra person because this is just really bizarre. Her hands can do this.
Yeah.
Right? Like no burning or anything, but she can feel pain.
Mm-hmm. That's weird.
But like she just never uses gloves grabbing out food, right? Mm-hmm. Like touch a hot pan, whatever else. But it's normal.
Well, we'll never know for sure because the creepier part of the MK Ultra thing is like the Freedom of Information Act. I keep mentioning that, but that's like the law that Bill Clinton brought into effect when he was president. That once something I think is either 20 or 30 years old, regardless of if it was classified, it becomes public domain. You can submit a request and get all the documents related to whatever that was. With MK Ultra, once the documents became legal and they become public domain, people start making requests for these documents, and when they come out, there's nothing about the results. They'll highlight what they did. They locked children, homeless people, whatever, in sensory deprivation tanks. They would keep them high on LSD for days. Because their method of thinking was that, like, if you deprive all of the senses and then you feed a powerful psychedelic, they were hoping for psychic abilities. That's what they were hoping for. But none of the results are, like, they were all destroyed before, long before the fact, like, what they found. They could have just put out some fake shit and said, like, oh, nothing happened. They were just high for a really long time. They didn't even do that. They just like, oh, this is missing. We couldn't find it, but they were obviously destroyed.
That's what I'm saying. Like, something, that's why...
Nothing accidental happens on the government.
And that counts as a conspiracy, and it's weird it counts as conspiracy because it's known, right? Yeah. And
so much crazy shit that's known. It's like in the public domain, but like you meet people that have no idea about it.
So, podcast idea: we go up to bootlickers and we tell them all the things that America's did.
That's not gonna work.
Why?
Because once you've like dedicated to that level of okay with your own slavery, like nothing's gonna convince you otherwise.
Wow, call them slaves.
We're all slaves, man.
Speak for yourself.
We're all like stuck in this whole system of working our whole lives and getting nothing for it and being poor. Like that's what it is.
Speak for yourself again. And then last time I had a job. Well, I became a free man a long time ago. I'm not in the system. You can look up my CIA papers. Please don't look up me on the CIA. That's real awkward. I have somebody already did that, and he started questioning a lot of things about me, and I questioned why he even looked me up. But anyways, yeah, became free, bro. We're not a slave, bro. You gotta be a free man, bro.
We're all slave to something, right? We're all slave to something.
Speak for yourself. Unless I'm a slave to freedom, that's an oxymoron. It doesn't make sense.
Oh, I love you to death.
But yeah, conspiracy is where all these like weird conspiracies and like a lot of them are just like so funny. They're just so funny. Oh, what was it? The Antarctican pyramids or the Alaskan pyramids? Always a fun one.
I don't know anything about
and
that.
The Bermuda Triangle.
Oh, the Bermuda Triangle. That's
a conspiracy.
Yeah, I mean it's a creepy thing because like so many ships have just like gone missing.
But that's normal though, actually.
Yeah,
people don't want to talk about how normal that is. Like, yeah, that's kind of normal.
Hit a fucking rock, hit an iceberg. Well, that's not in that part of the world. You're not gonna hit an iceberg, but hit a rock, punch a hole, ship sinks, it's gone. You know, where was I going before this?
We were talking about conspiracy. You know, like that's a weird one with the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, the triangle's a weird one. I was thinking of one specifically. I was like trying to keep it on the back burner, and I lost it.
One that I feel like always.
What I was gonna get to is like how seriously I take a conspiracy.
Oh.
It like a few rubrics, right? Like, is there a reason for this to exist? Is the important one.
Like flat earther. get mad at that.
Yeah,
if you ask them that first question, they're red in the face already. Like instantly mad if you ask them, like, what's the point? What's the point of this conspiracy?
Yeah, because like, okay, the alien thing, and we'll go into that in a different episode. Mm-hmm. But the alien thing, totally feasible why that would exist. Because like, if an alien civilization was coming here, they would obviously have technology that was way ahead of ours, that would revolutionize our lives. The government would want to keep that under locks. They wouldn't want that out in the public, right? The flat Earth, what the fuck? What's the purpose? What's the reason why the governments would be lying about the shape of the planet? Well,
they kind of like the numbers on Earth and everything. There's a lot of things that's questionable, but it being flat doesn't make sense. There is questionable things they have came out about the Earth and everything.
I just don't know why like anyone would lie about that.
We're in the sphere thing and
like why would
terraform.
They need to?
Yeah, what's the point? Like, what is it hurting?
What do they stand to gain?
The government creating weather. They control the weather.
NORAD.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? NORAD. Like, you can definitely create weather. That's the thing now.
One conspiracy that's really interesting, like nobody talks about, it's really interesting. If you go close to Area 51, I'm not gonna dive fully into aliens, but the jackalope was always the bunny with deer antlers.
Yeah.
I feel like nobody ever talks about it, but that like was like a full thing. Nobody talks about that weird like is that an alien? Is that a science that was like a created creature? Like that nobody talks about this weird Pokemon thing that pops up around the area.
I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility that there are animals that are endangered that we just don't see very often.
Well, then you go further, Loch Ness Monster and El Chupacabra. Bigfoot or Yeti.
Yeah.
By the other name, you know.
Most people who go to debunk Bigfoot believe that people are just seeing like bears walking on their hind legs, which is entirely possible. Because like if you see a bear walking on its hind legs, that's a pretty big animal. You know, so that's possible. I don't know. I don't necessarily adapt to the idea of like a half-ape.
Oh, Falcon Monster. That was a Bigfoot too.
Yeah, that's
but he ate black people.
Oh, just because he's in Falcon.
That was. Yes, the Falcon Monster ate black people.
No, I was laughing at the fact like if people were making up a monster to exist in their region.
Oh yeah,
it makes sense that he would eat black people.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, our folklore is racist. Really now? Yeah. He's
anyone watching from far away. There's a little town close to here called Falk, Arkansas, and they made up. Well, I don't want to say made up because we don't know, right? There's supposedly a legend that there's a Yeti or a Bigfoot walking around there called the Falk Monster.
Boy, they made that shit up and ate Negroes, bro. They made that shit up. They even have a grocery store called Monster Mart. Bro, they made that shit up.
I stop there every time I drive through there just because it's called Monster Mart.
I'm glad you stopped by there. I was always told not to stop by there. Literally was told, never stop at Monster Mart. Stop at the other one. Don't stop at Monster Mart.
Well, I'm not in danger.
Yeah, you're right. Falcon Monster not gonna eat your ass.
That's right.
Yeah, you uncooked.
I've also heard that it was like something to do with the Prohibition era and like them trying to keep the law away, and I've heard all kinds of different stories about it.
Yeah. Also, conspiracy, big conspiracy. White people hate black people in America, and they're trying to oppress black people.
Is that a big conspiracy, or is that just the way?
Tell that to bootlicker. Please kill black people. Tell that to a bootlicker. I can go down the list. Tell that. Wait. White privilege is or oppression. Don't forget that these are conspiracies. People don't believe in it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, these are full on.
But that's like less interesting, just because the people that don't believe those things are just not paying attention.
Ignoring. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you know, it's not as interesting as like the government doing some spooky shit. Like fucking Area 51, man, the secrets around that place.
Just alone that place. There's an interdimensional time thing in Antarctica and in the Vatican where you can kind of go in different points of time.
Well, that's going into the alien thing.
That's not alien.
A lot of people believe that like aliens are interdimensional beings and not like they didn't come here linearly like we think of travel.
Like we think time.
Yeah, they come through like time or dimension or whatever. Man, because...
Oh, Tupac's alive.
Tupac's alive.
Yeah, you can't forget about the OG of conspiracy, bro. Tupac
faked his own death.
What was it? It was crazy. I was a teenager in high school. It was just like, yeah, Tupac is in this underwater submarine thing, and Dick Cheney stops by every once in a while, and that was so wild. Yes, this is legit. Like, and like multiple people heard this. Like, it was funny. Like, find another person. Like, yeah, bro. Like, they heard the same thing. Like, as a kid, it's like Tupac and Dick Cheney. And Dick Cheney was well alive during this time when I'm talking about this, right? But it was like
Dick Cheney shoot him with a bird shot.
No, he got rid of the person that got too close.
Okay, gotcha.
It was weird hearing about the story and everything, but then finding out more about Dick Cheney and how he had control over the media, starting to make sense why that name kind of popped up with it. The Devil 666 Carbon was probably one of the dumbest black conspiracies.
Oh, you have to inform me about this.
I have argued with so many people, mainly black people, over it. It was crazy.
Because, like, that's a totally different episode we could do where, like, all of religious people are conspiracy theorists and believe in conspiracy theory. But, yeah, that's a different thing.
The 666 Carbon is just like the sign of the devil. About black people are the sign of the devil, and the white people made it the sign of the devil. But it was 666 was supposed to be a good number, and 6 electrons, 6 protons, 6 neutrons makes up melanin. Now, any basic science person knows what I'm saying is bullshit, right? Mm-hmm. But that was the thing. It was talking about black people had the 666 thing, and they were God's people, but white people turned around as the devil, and they truly believe this. Mm-hmm. This is like a real conspiracy people believe. Now, you know, when it comes to carbon-based life forms, melanin has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
We all have melanin to some degree, unless you're albino.
Yeah.
Right? I've argued with people over all this.
God.
Right? Like, this is like, they heavily believe in that. Scientology is technically a conspiracy.
Bro, that's just wackiness. Dude, like, I love South Park for railing on them so hard.
Simpsons predicting the future is a conspiracy.
Oh, yeah.
That
like,
is...
Like, the future's all written by the government, right? Mm-hmm. And the government, like, drip feeds pieces to them.
In The Simpsons, so they predict all these things. That was, like, a serious one. Like, people really started believing it after something happened. Was it the Lady Gaga thing, or was it something else? Or was it Trump being president that people really believed it? It was one of those two things.
It was around the time that Trump was elected president that I really started seeing people, like, posting it all the time.
Because then, like, the Lady Gaga performing, and it was like, she was almost in a similar outfit, but it's like, it's Lady Gaga. Like, you couldn't guess what kind of outfit she was going to be.
Yeah.
But performing, and the whole Trump going down the thing, being president, was like, what? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Those, man, the conspiracies get really... wild, man. I'm trying to think, like, there's just so many crazy...
Like, so much of it is, like, reaching so hard, and if you would just take a second to think about it, you'd be like, why would this be?
Here's one. White people, black people are supposed to be plant-based creatures, right? I'm about to go 2 different ones right here. There's black people based, and white people come from the original white person, which necessarily wasn't Neanderthal, or you could say Neanderthal, is Nosferatu. And so that's, and white people being, like, Nosferatu was actually a servant under black people. And he kind of became his own and got his own people with Neanderthal, and they were meat eaters, and they needed blood. And white people needed to eat meat to survive. And then they've adapted well, they didn't need it as much. This is like straight up real conspiracy. I can show you the stuff if I haven't showed you already.
Spoiler, humans need meat.
This was the wild thing. And so black people were supposed to be plant-based. Like, they were supposed to actually be vegan vegetarians. The other one is white people are, not Homo sapiens per se, but simians. Is that monkey? Simians?
Yeah. I mean, simian's a very broad term for apes.
And black people are lizards. Black people are actually lizard people.
Oh, the lizard people thing goes into the alien thing, but that's like...
Oh, yeah, that's the whole thing. But yeah, black people are actually lizard-based, because somebody was saying... This is funny. I heard it this year. They were like, oh, yeah, black people can't get COVID. I'm like, why? It's like, well, we're lizard-based. And it was some reason. It didn't make sense.
COVID's been way harder on the black community than it has the white community.
But also, another conspiracy, it hasn't. That was another way to control black people. That was another big argument, because they've showed that a lot of tests were put in Africa on places that wasn't strong, didn't deal with COVID like that.
Africa didn't even have like a strong had a strong presence.
But it was shown a lot of places in Europe, America, and even Asia sent tests to places. You saw the one, the Tasmanian president, he had them test all these random things, and he came up with COVID, and they were lying. That's also that's also a big conspiracy. Is like something's going on with the COVID thing because
Yeah.
they keep trying to make it black people the face. That's also a thing, making black people the face of every disease.
If you want to get real about like why it affected black people worse, it's just like a poverty issue. Like the hospitals who serve like underserved areas are not as equipped.
But they said that, but like also at the same time, the numbers were so wrong. They were just saying everybody had COVID.
The
They
numbers
even
are-
said George Floyd had COVID.
The numbers are very wrong.
Yeah,
And I don't.
but they were claiming a lot of people that had COVID was just kind of like that person didn't have COVID. Like they were claiming a lot. So when you can smidge numbers, you can just say who had COVID or not.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing's been like weird. It's been very weird.
Definitely something's going on. Like these messed up numbers were definitely.
No, like I was watching the whole thing unfold, like on TV and news reports and stuff, like while I was in college, and then when I got out of college and started like working with people who had COVID, I was like, this is really. I don't want to say it's not as bad because like it's killing people. It's killing a
200?
lot of people.
We've curved the number where it didn't kill as many. They all said globally it was going to kill 2 million.
So
we've curved that number.
Yeah, I don't want to say that it's not as that bad,
But
because it's fucking
no,
terrible.
but that's the thing. They said even at its worst, it was going to kill 2 million people globally. Statistically speaking, that's not that bad.
If you watch the news, the way they're portraying it, they're talking about like it's this like horrible, debilitating thing, and like most of the people that I've taken care of that had COVID were not that sick. Some people get real sick.
Some people get really bad, but that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like statistically speaking, 2 million was at the worst if we didn't do anything about it. That's not bad statistically. Yes, 2 million people die in a year sucks, but how many people really die in a year? That doesn't curve our numbers. We're literally not curving.
Bro, I
our
feel
numbers.
like a piece of shit for saying this, but if 2 million people died a year, that would help the earth so hard.
Not really. We need a lot more than that.
No. Well, yeah, but it would be some relief to the earth.
Like that goes back to what we
like
said in the
carbon
beginning.
release.
I think that's good. Wait. Before I end, we got to talk about the big conspiracy, Epstein and Hollywood.
Oh.
We cannot
Oh.
leave before we got to end it on the whole Hollywood pedophile, Alex Jones, gay frogs. We cannot leave.
I mean,
this
we're not
route.
going to touch Alex Jones for conspiracies anyways. But no, like the Hollywood thing is weird to me. It's like it's weird to me that okay, so like pedophilia for a long time was just like a thing that happened within the family and no one talked about it because like everyone
Put a date on it when you said that.
What?
Put a date on it when you said it. Like for a long time. How long we're talking?
We're talking about like generations and generations. I don't know how long you want me to say.
I mean, that still goes on now.
Yeah, it goes
Okay.
on now for sure. But like it was just like a thing that you had everyone. I don't know. I didn't really have that person, but it seemed like everyone had that person in their family. It was like their Uncle Touchy or whatever, you know. And now it's a big deal, and the way it's being blown up on social media. I don't know how true it is. I have no idea because like
Wayfair.
I'm not in the middle. Yeah, Wayfair and all that shit. I have no idea how true all of that is.
That was a
Because, like,
wild one. I never heard of Wayfair till.
yeah,
that.
like I have no idea how true all that is. But the way it seems is like pedophilia is this like huge thing, like a third of the population engages in, you know, and it's like, what the fuck? There can't be that many people that are into kids.
Well, see, and that's the thing, like, and that was the whole thing, like, it can't be that many people in the kid, but then you think about it, like, Playboy had Brooke Shields 11 years old, right? In the 70s. Like, you can look up, like, she was on the cover topless, like, 11-year-old girl.
That's creepy.
Brooke Shields is a famous woman alive,
Yeah.
right? This is the 70s, so, and there was already, and, like, so she was in the Playboy, but we already had laws, like, we're, like, a little bit over 100 years when it comes to, like, pedophilia laws, right? But that's an easy one to say, like, pedophile right there, right? Like, people bought that issue. I bet nobody's grandpa gonna say, yeah, I got that Playboy issue, right?
I don't know, dude. Like, right-wing people are such assholes. They probably double down and be like, yeah, I got that shit.
But yeah, like, so we talking about right there, Brooke Shield, like, so right off the bat, the dude over Playboy that died, pedophile. Can't even debate it, right?
That wouldn't surprise me.
Elvis, pedophile.
Everyone in the Bible, pedophiles.
Also, like, the number of pedophilic thing we have to know is, like, we put an age. Francis' age, everybody was mad at that Netflix movie, is 14. Age consent is 14, right? Like, so America's being doubled down because now our lowest age of consent is now at 16. It used to be 14 and 12 a few years ago. A decade ago, it was way different.
It's just like, back to my original point. It's hard for me to imagine that many people being into kids. It's just like, how?
I mean, but there's little, what was it? The director Woody Allen married his adopted daughter. Pedophile.
Yeah.
Right. Drake grooming texting 11 about boys and stuff.
I saw some like weird diagram today though that was like really put me in a weird place.
What?
On Facebook or Twitter or something. It was two stick figures, or like two sets of stick figures. It was male and female in each one, and they had the name or their age on the stick figure, right? And like the first one was 46-year-old, 9-year-old. The second one was like 22-year-old, 17-year-old, and it was that Office meme. Is like, that's the same picture. It's like, no, not even a little bit.
Where they're trying to compare it, and you see, that's the weird thing. But like, when you go by that, then yeah, you can easily think a third of the population's pedophiles.
Yeah.
If you go by that, going by that, right?
Yeah.
Because it's so broad, right? Like, it's so broad and in it. The one thing that got me when it comes to conspiracy, even though it's not really a conspiracy, there was this person in Haiti. I always talk about this. There was a person in Haiti. She went to jail because she was like trafficking these kids. Mm-hmm. She gets I forget which president or who expelled her from her crime or whatever else, and then puts her in a government job over missing people in America. And you can look it up. This is something you can look up, but people will call it conspiracy. But like, the government put her in a position now over missing people. She literally went to prison for child trafficking in Haiti.
And then she got a sweet government job.
Mm-hmm. In missing people.
Well, I'm trying to think. What would be the reason for this? She would be a person who would understand the network.
Her name changed also.
Oh, so they were.
I have to look it up. The exact person. The name. You can look it up, but the name is different. Like, you can look up like name. You can look up these records, but nobody talks about it because like they went to these steps.
Mm-hmm. They changed her identity, and she's supposedly a different person now. Okay. Mm-hmm. What the fuck?
Yep. Talk about it next conspiracy.
All right. So, lesson for the day: don't trust the U.S. government.
Man, that's really That's how we. Wow. Yeah.
All these conspiracies, you could sum it down to like, don't trust the U.S. government. Sorry.
Oh yeah, Dodo Bird was the original drone, and that's how we end it.
All right. See you guys next week. Drop in the comments. What are your favorite conspiracy theories? Let us know. See you next week.